Hello, hello. Let's turn this down a little bit. I have a bit of background music while we're talking. Now, there's something about this that just had me kind of, because sharing big news, it may not be as big to you guys. That's the entire thing. None of you guys will understand this entire thing, so I need to lay down some stuff so you guys will understand why this is such a big thing for me to tell. It works in tandem with a lot of other things. So when it comes to writing, I am very stubborn with how certain sentences flow, with how especially names, character names. Main character is the most important name in the book for me, because they're the driving point of the story. And I've butted heads with my editor at times that they need to stay as they are, but I've learned over the years to kind of relax that stubbornness and allowing things to be changed ever so slightly. But with what happened last Sunday and how quick it was, it showed to me that change can happen even if you are that stubborn. It also comes down to respect, because if any of you guys have been following me for at least the last month, I have been working on this story, editing Caleb Phantom, and we've been working on that we started in September, took time off, so a few months we've been editing this story. And there are all the firsts that have happened because of this book. This one took me a week to write in 2020, and when I released it, because it's on the internet for you guys to read, but it definitely is not up to par to what we've done with it. And so, but the reason why it's being edited is because I want to legitimately publish it. And so the next point of attack was asking Caleb to use his name in this book, because not only is his name a driving point of this story, but this story takes place during a certain part of his channel, on his channel. So it correlated just, and so I wanted to get permission to use his name. And as we got more into editing, I'm like, I'm nervous about it because of how intense the story has gotten. just to make it seem more real and stuff. And so, I wanted to ask if I could, and so, last Sunday he popped onto Twitch, and I popped on as well to watch, and he was doing a question and answer, and I typed in the question, and I didn't respect it. I didn't uh expect a reply, but he did, and that kind of got me thinking. I have the whoops. I have the clip actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause this. And I'm gonna have you guys listen to the clip of him answering my question, and then I'll talk about it. So let me do this. And let's so I clipped this from a live stream and put this together for the answer. My question is, I have been editing a story that I wrote back in 2020. You are the main character, and I'm looking to get it actually published. I would like it if you. I would like to get your okay to use your name. That was my question to him. And this is him seeing it, so.
Skit show. As it relates to your story, I don't care if you use my name. But I would say just some, friendly advice, not advice, but like a thought here. I don't know, like you know me. It's inspired by me, but it's not gonna fully be me, obviously, right? Like, you don't know the completeness of me. And I'd say that the character you're writing maybe is something that is radically pretty different than me, and maybe naming it something original, completely on its own. Then it can be your character completely, right? It doesn't have to be associated with me. It can be something that you'd be like, I wrote that character. That's my character. That's my name. Name him Trent or Garrett. I don't know. I'd say stick with own your character. You don't want to write me. I mean, it's inspired by people. Yeah, when we're writing stories, we come up with characters that are inspired by the people in our lives. I get it, but that's I think that's the best way to go. Inspired by, not necessarily directly placing that person from real life into my story, because we're just not going to get it completely right. My 2 cents.
Okay. So I heard that, and I went off, and I thought about it, because for one thing, he didn't say no. He didn't tell me no, that I couldn't use his name, but he also brought forth a good point. And that point is in fact, I don't know. I see, stuff online. I can take it and mold that character into a close representation of what I see of him, but it's not him. And so I went away for a little bit and thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? That's true. And so I did change the name. and that was, it wasn't, I don't know if it was the fact that I had indeed already written the book was already written, we were just editing it. It may have been easier that way because I wasn't coming up with the story was already there. So perhaps that was the easier of the two. But so I changed the name to Coulson Driscoll is what I changed the name to, and this is the new cover for the first book. I went away and changed the name. Coulson came after the next day because I had a different name, but it didn't pan out. And I did think about using the name that he suggested, but they didn't. I don't know. They weren't aesthetically pleasing on the cover, and I still like the fact of keeping it a C. And so Colston was the one that actually my editor came up with, because she was helping me figure out names for it. So Coulson Driscoll is the name of the character now, and it's one of those things because it holds true to what the story is. The story is pretty much a fan going too far, kidnapping an artist, and I think it just holds true because I respected Caleb enough to go, okay, maybe I should look at this a different way, because I have a situation that is, if any of you guys will know of what I've done, know of the original story, they will know where the idea stems from. But if anybody just picks it up randomly, it will just be another artist being kidnapped by a fan. And so so yeah, that's the new cover for Coulson's story. However, when I am doing I'm gonna be doing a new trailer, I will be using Caleb and stuff just because it's easier for me, because I don't have any other footage to do it with. So, and since we're on this, I'm going to do this, because this is so this is the return. This is the cover for the return. This is what's out there on the internet right now, and this is the new one. So, and it makes it a lot calmer for me, because I'm going to get this published, and if he ever picked it up, it may be similar, but it's a different name, it's a different character altogether, so I can have some sort of a little bit of liberty now. But I do try to keep true to my inspiration, so. But yeah. So these are the new covers for the first one and second one. So yeah. And the thing about this one is with this story, I know I've talked about this before, but the story had a lot of firsts in it. I have finished the story and I let it sit for about 10 months before the second story came into mind, and then that one took a little bit longer to write, but I got it written. And then, so that was in March of 2021, and then in September of 2021 we started editing this. So it's been but normally I get an idea for a second book and don't finish it or lose inspiration. On this one I didn't. It just took me a little bit longer to do it, but I got it done in the end. And then normally they just sit there and that's all. But I am actively editing this, and so I really do care about this story because it's something that you see being online. You see it far too much where fans just go too far, and it's not good. And when I was writing this, I kind of looked at myself and like, have I gone too far? But when you ask that question, you really haven't, because you're acknowledging that you may have done it, and so you analyze what you're doing. So it's that respect and honor for that. And so, yeah. And then that's also given me some feedback on what to do for like the YouTube game on YouTube, or Acacio Culprit, which is kind of similar to the YouTube game, but they both have Jack, Mark, Ethan, and Unis Honest. They all correlate into that, and so it's gonna be, when it's online or when it's on YouTube in a visual representation, I may be using, them as just visual. But if I do ever get them published, changing the name may be a bit easier for me now that I have done it. And just with what Caleb said, yes, I don't know them all the way, and that's not my intention. It's just my character mixed in with what I see online, and so it really helped. It really helped with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes of it. But when I do use when I do go back and do the trailer for this book, when it's done and stuff, I will be using Caleb, but I will be calling him Colston as I'm doing the trailer. So, but it's because I don't know. He brought up a good point, and it made me rethink of if I wasn't using Caleb in connection to his channel, then yeah, maybe I would have kept the name if he would like in a different setting away from his channel. But they correlate too closely, and I think having a different name would separate it. So I think having that little feedback from him helped, because it didn't shut me down like it would have. Because I can tell you, probably not even a year ago, if I would have heard that I would have been shut down, I would have walked away from the story, because I would have been upset, I would have been pissed. but I took it, and it's like he didn't tell me no. That was the thing. He didn't tell me no, but he also gave another reason for it, and so it just kind of worked out in the end that I could make the choice for myself, and I chose to change the name. So yeah. And I know this may not be as big to you guys as it is for me, but this is huge for me. This is a maturity leap that I never thought I would have made. Having it edited and learning how to write differently is definitely a different. It's definitely new for me, but it's challenging. But it's challenging me in a good way because it's teaching me how to write better. So I'm not so reliant on an editor, hopefully. But it also promotes that change can happen if you're that stubborn in what you want or what you see it. If you are if the right words come to you at the right time, it can promote change in a good way. And so that's what happened with me. I got the right words at the right time, and I was just in the right headspace that I could accept it. And I looked at it, and I changed what needed to be changed, because I could, if I wanted to keep Caleb Hyland in the story, I could have changed something about the story in relation to YouTube, or him singing, but that's too much of the story to be changed as it did being edited, and it's a complete story. So the simple answer is to change the name, and so that's what I did, and hopefully when I get it done, it's liked. So. But yeah, I'm proud of that. And this cover may still need a little bit of work, but I think for right now it's good. But it's one of those things where I've learned writing with my friend, because I watch, and the best thing is to be satisfied with yourself, not just putting out stuff to put it out, but you need to be satisfied with what you've done. And for the most part, I've done that, and that makes me very happy, because it's like, okay, it's done. Now let's move on. Because I do that online with YouTube. With the edit, I need to feel, like I've done it good enough to where I'm happy with it. And so that needs to be the same for writing, even though it may not be how I want it to be worded, but I want people to understand how I write, because I don't fit an ED niche with writing. I'm all over the place, but I don't know. I'm just different, I guess, and I hope people start taking me seriously, because I love doing this stuff. This is so much fun, and so So hold on. I'm gonna see if I can reach out to my friend, because because she would be able to give you more of how big of a change this is for me, because she even had mixed emotions for it. So hold on, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can reach her really quick. Hold on. Let me give you guys a little bit of music. Oh, sorry. We're kind of loud. There you go. I think coming from somebody else, it will have a different, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Wrong thing. Oops. Because having somebody else come in and say how different it is not, I don't think it's bad, so. I forgot to text her before I started, but I was in the, I was doing the entire thing of, it's not as big as people may think it is, because they don't know what exactly is going on. So, in the fact, I was trying to talk myself out of doing this, but it's allowing you guys to get to know me a little bit, how I work and stuff. So, that's kind of what I want. Is a little bit of just transparency, because my work is out there, and there's always for me, there's always a story, the author's story with every book that's out there. There's an author story, so, and this one has so much behind it that would be definitely hard to tell. So well, while I'm waiting, yeah, that was my bad. I didn't text her like I said I would, but that's okay. And also, on the heels of that, let's get this off screen. With everything that's going on with gaming and stuff, I have my inspiration stems from the courage to do this stems from Jack and Mark. But I am not a comedy based person, and I've tried that, but I don't succeed, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to embrace my dark narrative storytelling that I enjoy. I enjoy being serious. I mean, funny parts can come out at times. It's not forced. They just come when they want to, and so that's where I fall flat when I try to force the comedy. Cause it's not me. So um so I want to start doing when I play games here, I play games to relax, to just to get into the world and just relax, not necessarily make the funnies. That's what Mark and Jack are for, and I or anybody else who does it. I give people that takes a lot of stuff to do, a lot of I can't think of the word, but that's not me, and so I'm going to just embrace what is real for me, and I'm going to attempt to do something. I'm not gonna say quite yet because I have to build an intro for this, but I'm going to do some. If you guys saw the video, I'm gonna do some bardic stuff where there's not very much visual stuff. It'll be me narrating a story and kind of get into that kind of narrative tone, and that's kind of what I want to do going from here on out, but I have to build that up. Edits will still be coming out. That will never stop. I have too much fun with those to stop doing them. So, but the music, I'm trying to stay away from copyrighted music just because I have Artlist, and Artlist has some wonderful music, but if there's a song that is copyrighted but sparks an idea, I'll use it. But for the most part, it'll be Artlist music. So, and oh wait, she just contacted me. Hold on. Now, I don't know how they're gonna work, so hold on, let me. um. So I'm going to turn the music off because I don't know if my microphone will pick up the call. So we're going to see if it'll work, 'cause I have to be able to hear it well. So let's see what we can do. Okay. And I have to keep my phone down so I don't dox the number. But oh yes, spam.
Yellow.
Hello.
What up, Buttercup?
Nothing much. So I just went and covered a lot of stuff, and I wanted to have input about could you say you had mixed feeling when I said that I changed the name of Caleb?
That really makes a lot of different ones, yeah. Mixed too. I guess that works too, though. But, Oh, Lord.
What?
I just think people aren't going to understand that. Cookie dough, you have flour, you have baking soda, chocolate, eggs, a lot of different things mixed together makes a good thing. Anyways. Yeah, so, for folks who definitely don't know Chris like I have, I've known about 14 years, give or take a few months. And Chris has had a lot of character developments, character arcs, if you will, in his life. But one thing he has been very prudent on, stingy on, dragon hoarding on, is you don't touch the names.
And
you don't suggest name changes.
And I did stress that when it comes to names, I am very, very stubborn about it. So, yeah.
And a few other things in your books, but I mean, honestly, what author, what creator isn't stubborn about their babies?
Yeah.
Parents, you've created these things, you're stubborn asses. All your parents, creators, y'all scary. So, you were definitely more like a dragon on the horde. Very, very protective.
Yeah.
And here you be willing, even though the person who you based your character off of said you could keep the name. But the fact you were willing to change the name, and even though your first initial name change ended up not being what you wanted it to be due to linguistics,
Yeah.
you still were willing. You didn't just yeet it all to the ground and say, F this, done, go away, screw you and bring home. You still stuck it out. You still honored your expressed desire.
Yeah.
It showed a certain maturity. Less dragonness, if you will.
Sometimes the dragon isn't good, but sometimes you gotta let it slide and do something else.
Well, yes. I mean, dragons of knowledge, dragons of, it just varies. But you've always been protective of what you have created. You had to.
Yeah.
You had so many things alone with your creations. And I think that you've had a great maturity growth doing what you've been doing. I think you doing streaming and stuff has encouraged you with a willingness to be a little bit more bendy, fluid with your changes.
Yeah. So here was something that I was talking about. I don't think I talked to you about it. Do you think that I would have been able to change the name if I would have been actively writing the book?
Where you first started writing the book? No. No.
Because that was back in 2020.
Well, 2020 we started writing this? No.
Yeah.
Then I do not think you were at that. I think you would have tossed around the idea a little bit, but I don't think you would have been at that point able to, because how you were writing the story, you're like, no, the person who I'm picturing have to finish at least the rough draft first, writing it in this person's name.
Yeah.
You have to finish with it, because it was fan fiction. Hello.
Well,
but
yeah.
now it's no longer really a fan fiction. It is, but it's not. It's kind of its own thing.
Yeah, because I also talked about there were two ways to make it not a fan fiction. Is for one, I could change the name. That would be the easiest. But also, I could have it to where we weren't in. It wasn't a YouTuber. It wasn't, But if I were to do that, that would change the story completely. So the name change was the easiest for me to do, to make it not that fan fiction. But if people know this, they will know exactly what it's based off of and where to go to find this.
Yes, and when you change the name, a little bit of changes. Yes, it's a nod to the OG influence.
Yeah.
But no longer like you gave me this inspiration, but dude, I went this way with it because yes, it's FBI. You see the influence, kind of like chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, they're the base of a lot of cookies, sugar cookies.
Mm-hmm.
But you add things to it, and you make a new cookie. And that's exactly what you did. Caleb Hyles was your sugar cookie, but then you went and added other things to it. It does, sugar cookie's still there, but it's no longer just a sugar cookie. It's a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
With some butterscotch chunks in it. I mean, it's its own damn thing now.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just saying. The base might have been thanks to Caleb Hyles and his Hyles for Horrors little thing that you saw and got a great inspiration from, especially for what you were working with and working through with it.
Mm-hmm.
But you made your own damn cookie with it.
Yeah.
So, and then the fact you're willing to going, it's still a sugar cookie. You're like, no, sugar cookie may have been the base, but it's a butterscotch chocolate chip cookie now. You were willing to admit it's no longer a sugar cookie. I think that was a great strength.
Yeah.
Showed your maturity.
Yeah, it's funny, people. I've come to grow where that word is now is like, it's a good word, but for me, it's a scary word. Yeah, I've heard it so many times said, so it's scary.
Well, when we were growing up, I mean, remember speaking, we still are, but when we were growing up, everyone made adulting and growing up and maturity be the same thing, and it's not the same. That's why a 13-year-old kid can be running a household, take care of their siblings, and be a grown-up in a child's body, but they're not mature. Maturity is a mental thing. Maturity is learning trust, learning to let go of things, and you learn to let go of some aspects, some of the things you were holding on to, and then accepting that you might not have to understand it. You matured and you let it go and you accepted that it wasn't exactly what you wanted it to be. Yeah. But it was better than what you originally imagined. At least that's my 2 cents about it, because I've been enjoying the story.
Yeah. And I mean, you've, with editing, with me watching you, you've taught me a little bit on how to write, how to see things in a 2D format as opposed to a 3D. So.
Well, you're a cinematic director. If you had the money and a freaking crew behind you, I would love to see you actually be able to do some movies.
Yeah.
I wish we could that sounds horrid. I wish we could throw you back a little bit farther and give you a better support group of nerds than what you have here. And throw you back in the 80s, where you could just have the old-fashioned film.
Yeah.
So you could edit like that. I do. I wish we could do that. I think you'd really shine there.
Yeah.
you're in an interesting stage of development where I was like, do computers, and computers and all the technology in computers cost. It's no longer you can buy Adobe for $100, but Adobe's yours for the next 30, 10, 20 years. It's now $50 a month. Here's your subscription. Don't get me started. You know how I feel about it.
Yeah,
I
no.
feel like they're killing artists.
Yeah, no, we don't need to get into that spiel right now.
I'm for the let's actually support our starving artists, and actually go back to when YouTube and other sections of time in life was, people were able to thrive, not this. And I think you would have thrived so much better even 10 years ago had you just gotten a legit camera in your hand 10 years ago. I think, I know you and I know the stories you have in you, and I'm like, nerds. I'm sorry you're here in rural USA. Soon you won't be.
It's
I hope people will read your stuff and see it.
yeah.
This is an unpaid promo, by the way. I'm just a diehard fan.
And I didn't tell her to say any of this. This is just her going off, so.
No, but I hope they can totally tell that, because it's like, no. No offense, darling. You're a starving artist. Anyways.
That's no shit. That no.
I'm like, we can go like past 15, 14 years of our relationship. Anyways. That one time.
Yeah.
How about the other time? How about that one time? Anyways. We don't need to go on all the times about food and past stuff. I love you. You're fantastic. And I've enjoyed your growth as a human being. And I've enjoyed your willingness to learn and be more flexible. It's been fantastic. And I'm excited to see your growth.
Oh. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's really hard for me to accept compliments, even from a best friend. I don't accept compliments very well.
I know. And trust me, he doesn't. I'm a bit of a sadist, though, so I give him lots of it almost every day. It makes him uncomfortable. It's fun.
She enjoys seeing me uncomfortable. But that's how friendship works.
So trust me, I started out with how handsome he is, and how awesome he is, and how fantastic he is, and how helpful he is.
Okay, you can stop. That's too much. You can stop.
I win. Anyways, alright. Is there any other questions you have for me that you'd like them to know?
No.
Obviously, I made you uncomfortable. I win.
Yeah, I'm comfortable and it's fucking live, and yeah, you win. I think I'm good.
You're a wonderful person, Chris, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have been walking this journey with you, and I'm glad to have witnessed it. I'm glad you let me witness it.
Yeah.
You've had other friends that have tried, and you haven't been able to let them in. I'm glad I burrowed my little way in, and I've sat out here with my little knife and going, I'm staying. No, it's okay. You can move. No, I stay. I mean, thank you for being so gracious and letting me help you and be here for you. It's been really fun.
Oh my god, alright. Why? I'm gonna say goodbye and leave it there.
Have fun running your stream. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Enjoy him.
Bye. Oh boy, that was interesting. But that come from being 14 years of friends and That's no shit. She and her husband, who I have known for since kindergarten, they have kept me alive a couple years ago. So when I was first, like in the early, like in God, what 2010, 2012. Yeah, they were a big help to me on that front. So, but and since we're in the uncomfortable stage of this, we're gonna jump to a game called The Test, and just to keep in keeping with that spirit of stuff, because this is another way to get to know who I am.